Ada tulis rekat? Alright.
Alright.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good evening to Madam. And we are here to represent our report by presenting with slideshow in the middle of the night. Okay. So, without further ado, let's proceed to our presentation.
Yeah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Kim Iskandar. I'll be explaining the background of this study. Year by year, due to increasing industrial production, carbon emission has been on an increasing pattern. This increasing pattern of carbon emission and energy consumption gave a significant impact on economic growth on many countries. The emission of these greenhouse gases have increased the greenhouse effect and caused Earth's surface temperature to rise, according to EPA 2017. Moreover, human activities such as burning of fossil fuels and changes in land use release large amounts of CO2, causing concentrations in the atmosphere to rise. Next.
As for the problem statement, I'm Camelia. I'll be presenting the problem statement. The problem statement is energy consumption and environmental problems are connected. So the production of energy and consumption are caused by air pollution, water pollution, and solid waste pollution. And the emission of fuel combustion is the main reason that cause urban air pollution. And generally, energy consumption will increase the environmental problem as well as economic. And the high level of gas exceed contributes to the global warming, which this phenomena will have bad impact to the physical environment, health, and extreme weather. Carbon emission have bad impact on the health and environment, which lead to breathing complication and other severe diseases. And lastly, the diseases are a burden to anyone, which cause an individual to be weak and contribute to low productivity. Next.
The objectives. My name is Azri bin Rossi. The objective is to determine the significant. Sorry. The objective of our research is to determine the significant relationship among carbon emission. To determine the significant relationship among carbon emission, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth. And also to examine the causal effect among carbon emission, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth. So we conclude that we want to ask questions that are there any significant relationship among carbon emissions, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth? And also, are there any causal effect among carbon emissions, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. I'm Liana. I will continue with significance of study. So the goal of this study is to identify the most significant factors influencing the economic growth level. The significance of this analysis may be conceived as follows. For the future researcher, The study might yield advantage to the development of the literature. This might also give benefits to the uh, future potential researcher in knowing more information about the factors that affect economic growth. Second, for the investor, this analysis would provide the investor with information where the investor has more knowledge on factors influencing economic growth for investment and income benefit. Third, for the policymaker, this study provide the information for policymakers in develop and standardize industry practice. It also allows them to introduce new policy on factors affecting economic growth, especially green technology. Therefore, the information given from this study should help a policymaker in dealing with the emission. Next.
Assalamualaikum. Good evening. My name is Shamim. Scope and limitation of study. The purpose of this study is to examine the relationship between carbon emission, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, environmental sustainability, and economic growth in country. To identify the relevant factors, many variables were chosen as independent variables to classify the related factors, including carbon pollution, energy use, green technology, and capital development and environmental sustainability. The type of data is secondary data. The data was selected from various sources such as World Bank indicators, World Economic indicators, online journals, articles, and other sources which related to the study. This study is focused on countries. Moreover, the number of years available for this study will give an impact towards dependent variable. However, there are several journals and articles that are difficult to access and download directly. This makes the information of the variable are limited. Okay.
Okay, Emilia.
Okay, so this is a project timeline. So we are doing this assignment for 7 weeks already, and the estimation cost is around 3,490. Next.
So proceed to literature review. As I will like to share about carbon emission and the economic of growth, in which stated by Hong and Lu, in which explored carbon emissions of the construction industry have been conducted to gain an insight into the carbon emissions of different industries. However, you on 2015 concerns that the continuous and increasing production of carbon emission reduction is therefore a matter of global. It is stated by Chen that China is the biggest producer and carbon dioxide emitter in the global cement industry. The cement industry accounts for 14.8% of total carbon emissions from China. Thus, it is critical sector within which to help China to meet its national 40 to 45% carbon emission reduction target. So in To improve the energy efficiency standards and strict control of increase in urban civil building floor areas will be most effective ways to reduce the carbon emissions in this sector stated by MAR 2015. Uh, uh, although, however, carbon emissions are monitored at different levels in which product, organization, city and national, which enables them to drive carbon mitigation strategies and implement policies to reduce carbon emissions. In recent past, there has been significant interest in revealing and estimating carbon emission at these levels. Energy consumption.
Oh, aku. So for energy consumption and economic growth, Gulzara Tariq 2018 stated that uh, start again. Energy consumption and economic growth. Energy consumption is the total amount of energy or power used, and energy consumption has been growing rapidly globally. They consume the energy for the construction, agriculture, and industry, which can increase the energy use. So the author said, Gulzara Tariq 2018 stated that increase in economic growth tend to increase in energy consumption. Next, energy independent and sensitive to supply of energy short. An increase in trade has negative correlation with energy consumption as it introduces the energy efficient technology. In this situation, policymakers should find a way to improve economy with efficient resources so that energy consumption will be lower. Supported by Weiwei Go 2018, stated that total energy consumption is one-way causal relationship between economic growth in China. Economic growth has a strong independence of energy. There is a co-integration relationship between energy consumption and economic growth. However, economic growth depends on the energy consumption decrease year by year in China. The way of economic growth is changing from the extensive economic growth mode to intensive mode of economic growth. Moreover, Ome Essen 2017 stated that there is a positive and statistically significant relationship between energy consumption and economic growth over the long term, such that energy consumption contribute more to economic growth as the import independence of the country decrease. Moreover, the effect of energy consumption on economic growth decrease as the income level of the country increase. This indicates that the efficient of use of energy is important as energy consumption, which is regarded as important indicator of economic development. On the other hand, Ali Bujari 2017 carried out granular casualty analysis among 11 Weber. Subsequently, a panel data model is estimated with the generalized method of movement. The main empirical finding is that real gross domestic product per capita growth is positively affected by growth rate of energy used per capita in the study economies. That's
Green technology.
Okay, the third one is green technology. Green technology is a type of technology that is considered environmentally friendly based on its production process or its supply chain refers to green technology. Okay, Zana Yusof states that replacing renewable energy sources in concurrence with clean energy sources appears to be the best and necessary alternative as approximately 80% of the world's primary energy consumption is still dependent on fossil fuels. Fund 2 acknowledge that most innovation in green technology takes place in industrial countries. Large companies in Brazil, China, and India, and also other major developing countries, are also engaged in the development of new technology for green technology. For Furthermore, Sanjukta Banerjee and Krishna Akuli added that among the many ways that the countries intend to improve the life of its citizens in the country and encourage the economic growth is by using technologies that are friendly to the environment or going green. They also added that green technology is the answer to one of the important factors for environmental pollution, such as the disposal of waste. To add, soon WLUG that
Aduh, Melayu.
a number of studies have a number of studies have been managed to review the emerging technologies. Ya Allah, kena edit. A number of studies have been managed to review the emerging technologies and designs in the area of green technologies for sustainable pavements. They also quoted Dawson that he described the edge and its restrictions of energy harvesting techniques for pavements, focusing on the design and construction issues. Next.
As for capital formation and economic growth, the causality relationship between
Madam, kalau Madam dapat ni, mana kita orang tak edit apa semua, minta maaf lah Madam.
the causality relationship between financial development and economic growth was found in all exam like values from the financial development to economic growth. The supply leading hypothesis is true for the selected countries in the time frame analysis. Financial authorities, capital mobility in the financial system and data collection skill have a positive influence on economic growth. Next, the short run gross fixed capital formation had no no major effect on no major effect on economic growth. Long run estimation of our model shows the growth fixed capital formation, total export, and lagging GDP had strong long-term relation with Nigeria economic growth. Next.
I'm Camelia and I'll be presenting the environmental sustainability. So what is environmental sustainability? It is defined as a responsibility to conserve the natural resources for future generations needs through interacting with the planet. The environmental sustainability is an action to ensure that future generations have the natural resources available to survive. And the food factory by Nestle is where Nestle has started creating an environmentally sustainable food factory through a lighthouse project that aims for a sustainable manufacturing. The project covers few aspects which are energy efficiency and life cycle assessment, which are to lessen the GHG emission, water consumption, to achieve 10% renewable energy and to replace the diesel van with low emission van to measure the energy saved. How about AirAsia? AirAsia has started the green service industry in order to fill the gap in the market. The company has successfully decrease the carbon emission from flight operation minimally. The oil plantations in Malaysia also involve in sustainability, which divided into biodiversity, deforestation, environmental pollution, and peatland conservation. The recommendation for the sustainable practices are planning, policy making, and implementation in order for the industry to be accepted globally without being criticized for causing pollution. And lastly, in Taiwan, research proves that there is a long-term dynamic relationship between business growth and carbon emission performance. And experts concerned that without effective control, industrial and economic development can affect the climate. And emission reduction measures are very important to improve the competitiveness of business, which will reduce their cost in protecting the environment. All right, next slide.
Okay, for methodology, I will be presenting about the qualitative or quantitative. In our research, we chose to select a quantitative research. Quantitative research is the process of collecting and analyzing numerical data. It can be used to find patterns and averages, make predictions, test causal relationships such as like we are doing, and generalize results to wider populations. In this research, we chose the quantitative study as part of the type of study to measure the significance between variables. In this research, causal study was used. It is used to identify whether a change in a variable could influence other variables. On this research, how carbon emission, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability will be tested on its impact on economic growth. In addition, a causal study can analyze on cause and effect of variables. For an example, if type A adjust, type B will also follow type A. Next.
Okay, I will be present about research framework and conceptual framework. So for the research framework, we use theoretical framework that is independent variable, dependent variable, and moderating variables. So for the independent variables, one is help new and efficient technologies. Second is companies' acknowledgement on the benefit of sustainable operation. For the dependent variable, environmental pollutions and ways to improve economy with efficient resource. So for the moderating variables, the point is the customer demands, and finance is the key to long-term economics. So for the conceptual framework, we have two variables, that is independent variables and dependent variables. The independent variables, it seems as a research framework that is help new and efficient technologies. Next is companies' acknowledgement on the benefit of sustainable operation. Same goes to the dependent variables, that is environmental pollutions and ways to improve economy with efficient resource. Next.
Okay, I'm Camelia and I'll be presenting on the hypothesis. As for the hypothesis, it relates to the theoretical framework. Firstly, the null hypothesis is the help of new and efficient technology is not related to the environmental pollution. The alternative hypothesis is the help of new and efficient technology is related to the environment pollution. The second hypothesis is null hypothesis. The company's acknowledgement on the benefits of the sustainable operation is not related to the ways to improve economic with efficient resources, so that um, the company's acknowledgements on the benefits of sustainable operation is not related to the ways to improve economy with efficient resources, so that energy consumption will be lower. The alternative hypothesis is the company's acknowledgement on the benefits of sustainable operation is related to the ways to improve economy with the efficient resources, so that energy consumption will be lower. Next. Syamil? Tak dengar.
Syamil.
Mute.
Aku mute, sorry. Based on the population and sample. Based on the sample of 100 respondents when we did our questionnaire, the impact of carbon emission and energy consumption on economic growth through IBM SPSS statistic, it showed that most of the respondents give a positive feedback on the questionnaire. Generally, highest respondents are usually youth within the age of 16 to 30 years, with the second highest of age 46 years and above. The result of this questionnaire show that young generation and all generations totally agree if the changes of the carbon emission and energy consumption will determine on the economic growth in some country. Okay, that's all.
Sorry, mute. As for the data collection method, we use the questionnaires as the collection method, and the questions were given 25 to 100 respondents, and the respondents are chosen from the age of 16 to 46 years old and above. The questions are gathered information about basic issues regarding the green technologies, participation points of the view on sustainable operation, environmental pollutions, improvement economy with efficient resources, customers' demand, and financing to long-term economic growth. And the question as forms were delivered to respondents via Google form, and all the data in the question as would be used for research purposes. Next.
As for the data analysis procedure, which data were analyzed using IBM SPSS statistics for Windows to conduct descriptive statistics as mean, standard deviations, frequencies, and percentage to describe the respondents' background data, as well as any significant relationship among carbon emissions, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth. Moreover, the survey was conducted to determine any causal effect among those five subtopics and towards the economic growth. So our findings based on the surveys and questionnaires through the 100 respondents. Well, most of them are females in 51%, 51%, 51% of the respondents are female, and 49% of them are males. So the age of the for the age from the 100 respondents, and most of them are young, between 16 to 30 years old, compared to others, which the older 33% is above 46 years old. Those 31 to 45 years old are the lowest. So marital status, there are more single people that respond to the questionnaires compared to the married couple. So those single respondents are more likely to concern on the changes of the economic growth. Current employment from 100 respondents, 56% of them are students, while working people is 38% and unemployed people are 6%. Monthly income is based on the respondents, mostly below 2,000 ringgit monthly, while 9% of the respondents are 2,000 to 4,000, and the rest are 4,000 and above. On the awareness of the changes of green environment, it shows that the majority of the respondents are aware of the changes of green environment, which is 69% from them, and the lowest are not aware. And those supports green products is the highest percentage, which 95% throughout the 900 respondents. So to to conclude from this research is that most of them are willingly to change and to aware the green environment for the economic growth.
Okay, so I'll be presenting on the green technology. So based on the questionnaire, we conclude that majority have strongly agreed for these three sub questions for this topic, which is firstly, they strongly agree that the use of green technology promotes the economic growth of the country. They also strongly agreed that applying green technology in an organization is totally environmentally friendly. And lastly, they are the majority of the public, majority of them have agreed that applying green technologies must be highly subsidized so that more companies can enter into applying green technologies. Okay, next.
Okay. Kelmi?
Only.
Stop.
Siapa ni?
Siapa?
Tak, aku punya. Tapi
Okay.
stop. Hello?
Okay.
Dengar nak dengar.
Dengar?
Slide dekat tempat aku stop.
Oh, ni.
Yeah. Okay. There is 3 questions. There is 3 questions that relates with the benefit of sustainable operations. The first question, that is question number 11. Based on 100 respondents, there is 63% of them voted on strongly agreed on this of the statement, that is, organization should move towards sustainable operation for cost efficiency to reduce environmental pollutions. The lowest percentage, which is 1%, disagree with the statement, and there is no respondent voted for strongly disagree. Sorry. As we can see, for this question, mostly they voted, mostly they will agree with the statement given. So for the question number 12, there is organizations that practice sustainable operation would increase the economic growth. Based on the respondent, there is 42% that voted strongly agreed, and the lowest is 1% that voted disagreed. So this shown that majority of them voted, majority of them agreed with the statement given. Question number 13, that is applying sustainable operation does not mean that the organizations would break banks. Based on 100 respondents, the highest percent, which is 43%, agreed with the statement, and the second highest, which is 37%, were strongly agreed, and the lowest percentage, which is 20%, satisfied with the statement. So the result is between strongly agreed and agreed. The average number of it is 4.17, which means the average respondent agreed with the question and apply sustainable operation. Meanwhile, the median of the result is 4.0, and the mode of the statistic is 4. It implies the most of the respondents chose agreed as their answer.
Camilla.
As for the environmental pollution, I'll be presenting on this part. So based on the results, we gathered that most of them have strongly agreed on the statement where big organization frequently cause more environmental pollutions, and also for question 16, the big organization should have a social responsibility taking care of the environment. And as for the question number 15, mostly are satisfied with the statement that small organizations frequently cause more environmental pollution. Next.
Shami.
Mute you. Mute.
Mute.
Yeah, sorry. Next slide. As for the question 18, Manufacturing or production of green product is totally environment friendly. Based on the table above, you can see that 48% strongly agree at the statement of manufacturing or production of green product is totally environment friendly. And the lowest percentage, which is 11%, satisfied with it. So no respondent voted for strongly disagree on the statement given. And 41% of the respondents voted for agree. This shows that respondents were satisfied and agree with the statement given. Question number 19. State government should make rigorous efforts to promote manufacturing and marketing of green product. As you can see in the analysis, 55% of the respondents voted strongly agree for the statement given. And the lowest percentage is 11%, satisfied with it. There also no respondent voted for strongly disagree on the statement given. And about 34% of the respondents voted for agree. This show that respondents were satisfied and agree with the statement given. Question number 20. I only support brand that involved in
Sorry, Shamim,
Oh, okay, sorry.
for customers' demand, there are two questions, which is there any are they only support brands that involve in corporate social responsibility? Based on the bar chart, only 36% of 100 respondents voted on certified statement, and the lowest percentage, which is 6%, disagree with it. About 32% of the respondents voted for agree, and 22% voted for strongly agree on the statement above. This shows that they are satisfied by using the brands that involve with corporate social responsibility. Therefore, organizations should start corporate with social responsibilities as long as the customers demanding. As for the next questions, is they don't mind supporting any brands as long as it means they do not support any brands that cause environmental damage. Based on the bar chart among 100 respondents, can conclude that majority of the respondents strongly agree on the do not support the brands that causes environmental damage, which only 6% that is disagree with it. Sorry. Only 39% 39% satisfied, as most of them strongly agree on not supporting the not supporting brands that cause environmental damage, while there are there are only one respondent that disagree with the cause environmental, and average from the respondents are agreed. For the next question is they don't mind supporting any brands as long it meets their wants and needs, which is there are 39% satisfied with their needs, with their brands that meets their wants and needs, and also 25% agree and 24% strongly agree. This concludes that based on the customer's demand overall, most of the respondents are satisfied by using brands that involve with corporate social responsibility. Therefore, organizations should start corporate with social responsibilities as long as it meets the customer's wants and needs. Organizations that causes the damage of the environment is not supported by the respondent, and it is strongly agreed that they do not support them.
Okay, financing to long-term economic growth. Next. Okay, on the left side, based on the chart, I can conclude that majority of the respondents agree that in 40% that in development of financial system is not an element which determines economic growth, but it is only a result of actual demands of the economy. The mean based on the result is between satisfied and agree, which means that most of the respondents do agree for the statement. Okay, for the next question, based on the chart, 46.5% of the respondents of the respondents of the 46.5% of the respondents strongly agree that in development stability of the financial sector, both would give positive impact on economic growth. The mean based on the result is between agree and strongly agree. And for the last survey question, majority of the respondents find that they strongly agree in more than 49% in the savings, and the effective allocation of the savings indicates another positive impact of financial development on economic growth. Next. Okay, chapter 5. Okay, in conclusion, the purpose of this paper was to In conclusion, the purpose of this paper was to signify the relationship and causal effect among carbon emission, energy consumption, green technology, capital formation, and environmental sustainability towards economic growth. The result of this study showed that generally, organization needs to apply green technology to reduce environmental pollution. Our findings indicate that despite the fact that generally the respondent wants to change the environment to friendly green environment, the study also found that organization that practices sustainable operation might increase the economic growth. The financing to long-term economic growth could give positive impact towards the country. Hence, people also tend to support green product to drive the country's success on their economic growth. Next. Meme. Mike meme. Meme.
Okay, sorry. Dengar?
Dengar.
Recommendation. For the recommendation to create an organization, they should formulate new terms and conditions as a guideline to policymakers. They should also enforce strict organizational policy to use environmentally friendly manufacturing to reduce carbon emission. In addition to energy generation, the government can reduce the use of energy used by replacing it with green technologies such as eco-friendly solar panel, hydroelectric, and wind turbine. Last but not least, they should invest in green technology for the investor. Since the use of green technology is growing, they should invest more in hybrid vehicle to produce more product that is environmentally friendly and minimize both emission and pollution. That's all.
That's all. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Hope you like it.
Ngantuk, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you,
Madam.
madam.
Pukul 2.43, madam. 2.43.
Sorry, madam. Tak dapat nak buat properly. Then that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Good night. Dah stop
Belum.
recording.